So we're talking about people stealing your pants?
That was the notes that I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Necromundown. Today we're talking about friends from beyond the stars, and they are definitely friends. Not at all a problem.
Yeah, they're angels with big old wings, and they're going to embrace us with love when they
They're going to save the Imperium with their four-armed emperor. Now we're talking about Genestealer corrupted gangs. So we are not talking today about the Genestealer Cults gang in Necromunda, which is a thing you can do. And unlike with the Chaos Hells we talked about, the Genestealer Cults actually function fairly well as a gang.
Yeah, I agree.
Genestealer Corruption is a side to playing just a Genestealer Cults gang.
Yeah.
And a Genestealer Corrupted gang plays a lot differently than an actual Genestealer gang. So keep that in mind. It's not like for Chaos where we actually recommended just playing a Chaos Corrupted gang.
Yeah.
These are two very different things. And even more so than Chaos, Genestealer Corruption is a flavor thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's not actually a lot to it.
Yeah, you don't... unlike the Chaos side where there's like, oh, you have the mutations and you have the blah, 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 and the dark rituals, you can get extra experience. No, there's not very much you get from it.
No, you just, the Star Gods give you an extra hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
maybe a bigger brain.
And maybe a bigger brain. So, like Chaos,
Yeah.
rules as written, you can only do this with the main 6 gangs.
Yeah.
Like Chaos, there's probably no harm in letting anyone else do that.
Yeah.
Everyone else on Necromunda can be Genestealer Corrupted, except maybe the Nomads, because we don't actually know if they're human or not.
They don't have to be human to be Genestealer Corrupted.
Yeah, but there are some species that don't care.
Even orcs can be Genestealer Corrupted. They're just not ideal. Humans are ideal because they don't live very long and they're kind of dumb.
Right. Yeah. So we don't really know. But anyway, you can probably
Yeah.
be anybody in Corruption. Also, like Chaos, you can choose at gang creation to be GST Corrupted. If you do so, you are automatically a outlaw gang. You can also choose to make one after creation. You take the, I forget what the actual post-battle action is called, but basically your leader has to make it. As soon as you make the post-battle action, you become outlaw.
Yes.
Just because people hear you a freak.
Hey, you got any of them genes?
You're down for some weird stuff. But then you also have to pass an intelligence check. Even if you don't pass the intelligence check, you still become an outlaw.
Yeah.
If you fail, you're too dumb to find Genestealers, and you have to try again.
And you, I love the you could. So in Chaos, you can't fail really. You'll just become Chaos Corrupted. But in this, it's like, hey, I'm looking for some genes to steal. You see any? No? Damn.
I think on a double ones, you should get arrested by the enforcers.
That'd be very funny.
But if there is another Genestealer or Genestealer Corrupted player, and they agree, you can skip the intelligence check.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I kind of love that.
I do love that, because they can choose to spread the gift with you.
You find someone that you know is already corrupted, and you just walk up and be like, hey, you want to corrupt me too?
By the way, the lore aspects of this, if you're wondering about Genestealers in Necromunda, Hive Secundus, there's Hive Primus, which is where all the story and action takes place.
Yeah.
Hive Secundus was previously the second most popular hive. It got run over by Genestealers, and the Imperial Fists bombed it from orbit, and then built a really big wall around it.
Yeah.
Most recently, in the Aranthian succession, the wall to Hive Secundus has fallen. So Genestealer Corrupted forces and gangs are now pouring out into the rest of the thing. But Genestealer Corruption has always been a thing in Necromunda, because things always kind of slip out. Genestealers, literal Genestealers, or the gang kind of like get out there. Or things come in from off-world.
Yeah.
So there's lots of lore reasons to have these. So what do you actually get for being Genestealer Corrupted, besides becoming an outlaw?
Not a ton. The first thing you get is your leader becomes a psyker.
Well, can become a psyker.
Can become a psyker.
And it costs you $40.
Yeah. they see, I would think it gets more expensive, like they're more valuable, but you don't actually have to pay for it. No, you have to pay for it.
No, you have to give someone $40
to become
as a post-battle action. Doing so gets you 1 power from the Genestealer Cults weird powers lists, which is not the same as the other random lists.
Some of them do share.
Yes, but some of them have the same name but are different.
Yes.
It also gets you access to the familiar, which we'll talk about.
The much maligned familiar.
For a reason. So let's talk a little bit about the actual weird powers list. Yep. Hypnosis. Oh, by the way, these are all all telepathy or telekinesis.
Yeah.
But not the same as the new telepathy or telekinesis. So don't get them confused.
Because this was written before the new book.
You can select a enemy fighter that is within 9 inches in line of sight and has not been activated.
Willpower test?
They have to make a willpower test. That fighter may only perform a single move action when activated.
Yeah, that's really strong.
That's strong.
It's only 9 inches, but it's a basic action, so you can move into it. But being only able to move once is pretty good.
Yeah. Telepathy, Unbreakable Will. This is a continuous effect. Whenever a nerve or willpower test is made for another fighter from the gang who is within 9 inches of this adept, use this adept's cool or willpower characteristic value.
That's bad.
Well.
Oh, God.
So, if you watched our Outlaw Ruth's video, we pointed out that the Awakened Ogryn is really bad because he's got 8 up willpower.
Yeah.
If you put him next to this guy who has like a 4 up willpower, you could potentially have an Awakened Ogryn who doesn't suck at being an Awakened Ogryn.
And that's depending.
And there are other uses of this.
There are other uses. So it is depending because this can go on any leader, basically any leader.
And some of those leaders have 4 up willpowers.
Yeah, some do, but some are Goliath, and the best willpower in the
Yeah, by the way, if you're playing a
7.
Goliath Genestealer Corrupted Cult, don't make your guy a Psyker.
Don't make your leader a Psyker.
Well, actually do because you're thinking the familiar.
True.
What's the next one?
Zealot, double action, and it is continuous as well. Once per turn, when another fighter with the same gang is within 9 inches of the adept, make a fight or charge double action. Any dice that rolls a 1 may be rerolled. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
Now it is an aura and a double action, but it's continuous, so you can upkeep it. And basically getting your guy within 9 inches of a fight depends on your board. Way less good in the...
It's also
wastes.
only once per turn.
It is only once per turn.
So this isn't a 9-inch aura you can stack for your whole gang. It's a 9-inch aura and someone gets it.
Maybe, if they're in range. So I think it's better than telepathy. Sorry, not telepathy. I think it's better than Unbreakable Will.
Probably.
Just because rerolls are so rare.
Right.
It's a double action, so you have to like spend a whole turn to put it up, and then you can kind of keep it there. Oh no, it says another. I was gonna say you can.
Nope, it's another. Yep.
Dang it.
Now here's the really good one: is mind control.
Yeah.
Basic action: select an enemy fighter within 9 inches, not within line of sight. That fighter immediately makes a shoot action, even if they've already activated this round, targeting an eligible fighter from their gang. So here's the thing: this is not the same as the mind control in the list from the new book,
Right.
because that one is continuous.
Yes.
Ish.
It's
weird.
We talked about it that it's continuous, but we're not 100% sure how it's continuous.
Go watch. We recommend just replacing this with that one.
I agree.
For ease of use, because they're clearly meant to be the same thing. And the last one's Assail, which is bad.
Oh, two.
Oh, sorry. The last 2 are bad. Second to last one's Assail, which is the make a bunch of, like, move the target D3 inches and make them prone and pinned, maybe smack them into something.
It's kind of like a ranged attack, but
and then Force Blast, which we talk about, which is a D3 plus 1 inch bubble of get away from me.
Yeah. No, it's a 3-inch bubble that pushes D3 plus 1 away.
Get away from me.
Yeah, get away from me.
Funny if you get it off on a gantry. Useless everywhere else.
Other than that, it's bad.
Now, so you can choose to make him a Psyker. You don't have to.
Right.
It costs you $40.
Do you get a random power, or is it a chosen power?
I believe you get a chosen power.
That would be better.
Yes.
Because if it's random, that would be awful.
Yes. The main thing, though, is you get the Psychic Familiar. You
Which-
get access to the Psychic Familiar.
Yeah.
You can have up to 3 of them on one guy. Why is that a problem, Mitchell?
It's only 25 credits. Its stats basically don't matter, except it's speed 5. It has Catfall and Clamor, so it gets places. So it can fall off of things and climb up things with ease. But the real reason is whenever the owner of a Psychic Familiar gets hit by an attack, once per turn, per Psychic Familiar, you can roll a willpower test, and if you pass, you are not hit.
Yep. That's hit.
You are not hit. You're not pinned. You suffer no effects.
Yep.
It's not hit. It also has a 3-up save that cannot be changed by anything, and a 4-up save against templates to basically dodge out of the way.
Yep.
So it's really hard to deal with, and it makes the owner really hard to deal with, and it's only 25 credits.
You can have up to 3 of them on one guy, and that's avoiding 1 hit per activation, rules as written.
Yes.
A lot of folks house rule that to be that it's once per round.
Yes, I believe that was the intent, was once per round, because I think the Chaos one is once per round.
Yes.
Per activation.
Yes. It's very, very...
I'm literally playing GSC in our campaign right now, and I did not notice that.
It's very stupid. Now, there are ways around it. Like, obviously, melee is now better at dealing with this guy because multiple hits.
Yep. You can only ignore one hit, so if you have 5 attacks, you can only ignore one.
It also, rules as written, like, if you hit someone with 3 rapid-fire attacks, it ignores all 3 of them because it's the hit, which I think is also technically not...
I agree, because you hit X number of times.
You get 3 hits.
Yeah, so you ignore one of those.
Because it doesn't say
hits.
3 hit rolls.
Right.
It's a little weird there. We play it as hit roll, the hit, not the hit roll. Rapid fire gets around him. And we also play it as you can only do this once per familiar per round.
Yes.
Because this is more important for corrupted gangs because Genestealer cults themselves are not very good.
No, they're kind of, their stats and their abilities and their weapons are all built around the fact that they can do this. Their champions only have 1 wound,
right?
Because they can take a familiar for 25 points,
right?
And you should,
right?
Put this on a Goliath,
then it's a problem.
It's a problem.
Right.
Put it on an Escher, it's a problem.
It's unlike Chaos, where going Chaos like had some ups and downs.
Yeah.
And, it's more of a flavor thing. If you want to be a power gaming jerk, there's almost no downside to going GSC except for the Outlaw, which you might already be.
Yeah.
And being able to put a familiar on your leader can make your leader an absolutely terrifying thing to face.
If you were going to be an Outlaw anyway, you could just do this, become a Psyker, and for 65 credits,
ignore one hit every activation. Even using our house rule of once per round.
Yeah.
That's still really good.
Yeah, it's potentially busted on a leader.
So, discuss this with your arbitrator.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun to fight against just going, I ignore all your stuff. Like, it's not, it's not great. Let's talk about the other thing that's really fun that they can get. Aberrant.
Aberrants are melee monsters, literally.
Yes.
They are 95 credits, which is a bit expensive. They're gangers.
So they don't have the gang fighter rule, though.
They don't have the gang fighter rule, but they count as gangers.
Yes.
They are not champions, despite having the stats that they have. Movement 5. Weapon skill 3. Ballistic skill irrelevant.
No one cares.
Strength 5. Toughness 4. 2 wounds. 5 up initiative, which does suck. And 2 base attacks. A cool of 4. An intelligence of 6. No, sorry. A willpower of 6. An intelligence of 10.
Worse than the game. Worse than an Ogren.
And a leadership of 9.
They also have the unstoppable skill.
Unstoppable skill, which is basically if you are seriously injured, you roll a dice, and on a 4-up, you get to heal one of your flesh wounds.
Yes.
It's a little weird that you have to be seriously injured for it to do anything.
Yes.
But again, the fact that flesh wounds are more relevant nowadays is pretty helpful.
Now, Genestealer Cults as a gang can get multiple of these.
Yes. So they can have yes.
More than one.
More than one.
Genestealer Corrupted, you can get 1.
Yep.
But this is a great way to add melee punch. Like, imagine being Genestealer Corrupted Vansar.
Yeah.
Hi, I have 1 aberrant.
Seems pretty good.
Where's Shooty? Deal with Jerry, the aberrant over here.
The downside of the aberrant is he can only ever be given close combat and armor.
Yes.
Nothing else. You can't give him an armor underseat. You can't give him grenades.
Right.
Because some of the other gangs, like Corpse Grinder Cults, they can't be given guns, but they can still take grenades because they're just war gear.
Right.
You can't get any of that.
No war gear. That means no chems, no friends on collar. We figured that out the hard way, unfortunately. But you can give him armor. Now, that does also mean you can't give him the armored undersuit because that's not armor.
Yeah, that's weird. I have been having trouble with that. But you can give them a Carapace armor. There is something for +1 armor in reaction attacks.
Scrap shield.
And then, there was one more that I don't.
You can give him an Archaeo Techno Carapace for just some hilarious things as your aberrant slowly turns into a man of iron, I guess.
Yeah. So
there's also some fun things where you can give him any close combat weapon.
Yep.
Not just the one, because in Genestealer Cults he has a list.
I mean, you can go to the trading post.
Right. But here there's no list, it's just trading post. So you could give him a rock saw.
You can give him a rock saw on GSC.
Yeah. Well, that was a bad example.
Yeah.
You give him a last cutter.
You give him what's the one in Orlok? The
Thunderhammer, the power hammer.
The power hammer. You can give him a renderizer.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. So all those things you can give to him.
Yeah.
For 95 credits, a toughness 4, strength 5 model with 2 wounds is scary.
Yeah, he is great.
You probably want to take one if you're playing GSC Corrupted, because they're fun.
Yeah.
They're not too slow. Yeah, they're really bad willpower or really bad intelligence leadership, but 6 willpower is okay, and 4 cool is amazing.
Their real downside is they are, they're 4 cool. So if you get to the point where you can give them Nerves of Steel, awesome. But pinned is the way to stop them.
Yep. And it's a ganger, so they upgrade like gangers.
Yeah, so they are randomized upgrades.
Yeah, so you're not giving them Nerves of Steel.
You gotta get lucky.
Yes.
So they do have downsides, but for 95 credits, a melee monster. The downside is it might not devour your opponent when it gets there.
Right.
Yeah, these guys are great.
So you can also get a cult icon for Genestealer Cults. No one cares.
Cult icons suck.
Right. No one cares.
You have to put it on a leader or champion, and you get to group activate with 1 more model.
It's the same cult icon that you find on every gang. It's not worth it.
It's 40 credits.
A little more worth it. Now, you can't do this at creation unless you start with creation.
Yeah, unless you start corrupted.
But you can get a hybrid juvie.
Yes.
Only juvies, not gangers or champions.
I don't know why. I think it's to represent the new being born into the gang.
If you are far enough along that you can get a hybrid champion, you're just a Genestealer Cults gang.
Yeah, it's true.
So hybrid juvies, they cost 30 credits more, but they come with something called Extra Arm. Extra Arm gets you +1 weapon slot, effectively suspensors on all your weapons, so move and shoot unwieldy, an ability to attack with 3 weapons and sidearms in close combat.
I don't even know how that works.
You just get all 3 of them.
But then do you have to split them evenly between the 3?
Yes.
Also, I love that you get suspensors for all your weapons, but it's only on a juvie, so the chance of you getting a heavy weapon is basically nothing.
Yeah. And an additional unarmed attack that has rending.
So it's decent for a melee juve.
Yeah. The problem is it's a juvie.
It is. For 30 extra credits.
In Genestealer Cults, this thing is amazing.
Yeah. You put it on all of your champions.
Yeah.
And probably some of your gangers.
Extra arm is amazing. For these guys,
Yeah, it depends on what you're going for. Like, I could see Escher liking it. Lots of melee attacks. Get in. What else? Maybe Delak? It's not great. For 30 extra credits, you have to have a reason for it.
Gotta have a reason, yeah. It's not great.
It is just upside.
Yes, but it's just upside for 30 credits.
So yeah, don't buy it if you don't want to.
Exactly.
You're not forced to.
Yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you get. It's much less complicated than Chaos.
Despite being in the same book.
Yes. I'm not going to say it was an afterthought.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if you want to delve more into Genestealer Cults, the actual Genestealer Cult gang is much more fleshed out.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And functions pretty well. It's not like a top-tier gang or whatever. They've got some weird quirks to them, but they work very well. If you want to play heavily corrupted Genestealers, just play the Genestealer gang.
Just play GSC.
If you just want to splash into having an aberrant or maybe annoy your friends with a familiar, that's when you get corrupted.
If you want to model an Escher with a 3rd arm and have 3 shock whips.
And have her be bald and have purplish skin.
Sounds great. That sounds fun.
I'm picturing the arms out of her back, so she just takes the whip and just spins.
You spin my head right. Wait, that was the wrong song.
That's the cover version.
That's the cover song.
Oh, by Flow Rida.
Oh God.
They put Flow Rida in the water.
My name is Mitchell, and I officially apologize. Anyway,
thank you. Cut to the actual video of Dead or Alive singing "You Spin Me Right Now" because that's
the way better version.
So that's it for Genestealer Cults.
Yeah.
A little less complicated than Chaos and definitely more flavorful. Mm-hmm. If you're just taking them for the familiars to be a jerk, you do you.
Yeah. Talk to your arbitrator about not being a jerk.
If you're playing that kind of Necromunda, go for it.
Yeah.
If it's power game, let's see how I can break the game.
Yeah.
Because some people do play that way.
Yeah.
Let's find fun combos. This is a good fun combo.
Yeah.
Van Sar, where your leader has 3 familiars and also you have an aberrant, is terrifying.
Yeah. Dear God.
And everyone already thinks you look weird and radioactive anyway, so no one's going to catch you.
They're all bald.
Right.
You're bald in the first place.
No one's going to catch you. So Vansar GSC, basically canon.
So don't get the 3rd arm is what you're telling me.
Vansar Jews are bad, so no.
Yeah, they are. I also don't want to be in melee. Dear God.
Oh, God, no. Let's leave that to the ganger. So that's it from us this week. Thanks for watching. Let us know below if you're also a fan of having a 3rd arm.
I mean, who isn't?
We'll see you next week with more of this. Not quite sure what we're going to go into. Might be the next house full rundown. Sooner or later, we'll get to the full versions of Genestealers and Chaos.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot to get through. Until then.
Bye.